what we have been talking about so far in this course is triangles, mostly. Triangles is sort of a really important geometric shape that we need to be able to work with. And so, so far, we have done 3 triangles around, no, that's not what I wanted to say. We have done 3 reasons involving triangles. So the last course that we did, or the course we did before this, we looked at just like straight line reasons, like angles on a straight line and angles around a point and stuff like that, which hopefully you were either in that course or you've done it in class, but if not, those videos are online for you and you can go and have a look at those. But these are now our triangle reasons that we're using. So like I say, we have done 3 so far. We're going to look at a 4th one today, but so far we have done 3. The first one that we chatted about was the fact that within a triangle, if you add up all of the interior angles, so all 3 of the angles in a triangle, you should get 180 degrees. And our reason there was sum of angles in a triangle. Then we went and had a look at the fact that the angle outside a triangle, so the exterior angle of a triangle, is equal to me adding together the opposite interior angles. And we spoke about the fact that that reason is exterior angle of a triangle. And then finally on Monday, what we chatted about was the fact that if you are given 2 equal sides, so in this triangle, those are the 2 equal sides because I've got those little tick marks on them, then we know that the angles opposite those 2 equal sides are equal. And so we spoke about the reason angles of equal sides. So that's what we've done so far. If any of this is feeling unfamiliar, the videos are available to you, so you're welcome to go have a look. But that's sort of what or where we're currently at. So you might want to take a screenshot of this just so that you have all of the reasons we've done so far. And then we're going to have a look at a couple of examples using these as we go along. The reason we're going to do today hopefully won't take too long. And so I would like to just spend some time recapping what we have done. Right, I see a question.
Yes,
I do see a question in the chat just recapping the first reason. So the first reason states that if you take all 3 of the angles inside a triangle, so angle A, angle B, and angle C, if you add them all together, you will always get 180 degrees. So in any triangle, if you add the interior angles up together, you get 180 degrees. Okay, but we're going to practice these reasons and we're going to practice again next week. So don't stress, there are questions coming. All righty. So let us have some practice of what we have already done. So
I just want to point out, guys, that I hope every one of you took a screenshots because the screenshot that Teacher Sam showed you, it's called a cheat sheet. What is it called, Teacher Sam? It is a cheat sheet, right? Yeah. Like this, you have it here with you, and even in the exam, you can actually write it, before you do anything, you can take your little notes and write it there so that you can answer the questions nicely. Okay. So it's very, very important, guys. We just follow these rules and we can answer anything. Okay.
And like Yolanda says, guys, these reasons that we talk about are really important because in geometry, you always have to give a reason for your answer. And if you don't, you start losing marks. So we want to know our reasons so that we can go and use them to answer our questions. All right, so let's get started on having a look at some questions. I gave you some time there to screenshot, so hopefully you did. So the first question that we have here is asking you for the size of angle X. Now, the first thing that I notice here is that I've got 2 sides of this triangle, AC and AB, and they have got that tick mark on them, which means that they are equal in length. And the second I see that that has been indicated to me, it's probably quite important, right? We generally try and not give you stuff that isn't important. And so what that means is, according to that third reason that we spoke about here, which I'll just put up, that when we are given 2 equal sides, the angles opposite them are equal. So that means that angle B, which is opposite one equal side, and angle A, which is opposite the other equal side, are both the same size. So our very first statement that we can make here is the fact that angle A is equal to angle B. And if you want to, you can say that they're both equal to X because of the fact that they are angles opposite equal sides. So now what I know is that both of these angles in this triangle down at the bottom, or I suppose down at the top would be a better reference point, are equal to x. And now we can go and use our first reason, which was sum of angles in a triangle, to go and work out what that x is. Because now I know that when I take x plus 100, I must get 180 degrees. And that was the first reason that we sort of dealt with, the sum of angles in a triangle. And what we need to start getting used to, guys, is being able to do these multiple reason answers in geometry. Sometimes it'll be a nice, easy one where it's just one answer, one reason, but often we'll have to do multiple steps in order to get our answer. So we need to start getting comfortable with using multiple reasons. So when I solve for x plus x is 2x. Sorry, that's a bit of a weird looking x. And then I need to go and use my inverse operations to solve for x. So the first thing I do is subtract 100 on both sides. So 180 minus 100 degrees, small space here. And then we've got that 2x is equal to 80 degrees. From there, I'm just going to go up on the side here so that I'm not going over the next one. From there, we know that we have to divide both sides by 2, which means that, as I'm seeing on the chat, which is really, really great, x is equal to 40 degrees. Alrighty. So that's how we would deal with something like that. And guys, when in doubt, start with what has been given to you. So like I say, you were given that sides are equal. So that's obviously important. Start with that and then see how you go. Right, so take a screenshot of that. I'm going to get you to do the next one by yourselves because this is all revision before we start with our new rule. Right, so I'd like you to try question 2. So question 2, I'm asking you for both the sides of x and of angle y. So you'll have to have 2 answers here. Remember your reasons. Remember, you can put it in the chat, or you are welcome to raise your hand and share your answers with us. We love hearing from you. I'm going to give everyone a second or two to do that, and then we'll have a look. Okay, guys, like I say, remember those reasons. And guys, if you were late because there was a problem with the link, don't even stress. We've just started. We're just recapping what we already know, so you haven't missed anything. Try this question 2. No stress at all.
I can see all of you like focusing. Well done, my pips. Well done, guys. We can do this.
Remember all of your reasons. We always need reasons for our answers. Okay, are we ready to hear some answers?
Yeah, I got some hands over here. Kulumo.
Awesome.
Kulumo teachers.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
X is equal to 34.
Okay, and your reason?
Is angles opposite equal sides.
Fantastic.
And y is equal, y is equal to 112.
And your reason?
Reason is sum of angles in a triangle.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am.
Well done, Kulumo.
Alrighty, guys. So what I want to point out here is it is absolutely fine for you to write your answers like this. So what I mean by that is to not show working out, especially when the working out is a little bit easier. If you don't go show the working out for the sum of angles in a triangle, it's absolutely fine to just write your answer. However, if you're not feeling so confident, that's okay. Woo. it's absolutely fine to then add your working out. So basically this y equals 112 has come from the fact that we know that y plus 34 plus 34 should be equal to 180. And this is where we would then put our reasons, sum of angles in a triangle. And so if, oopsie, sorry, everyone. And so if you are feeling more comfortable or you need to show the working out because that makes you more comfortable, go for it. That's absolutely fine. Because then we know all we're doing here is using our inverse operations to get y is equal to 180 minus 34 minus 34. And that gives me exactly the same answer as what I got, which I'm just going to move up. I overestimated how much space I would need. So we end up at exactly the same answer. If you're comfortable going straight to your answers, do it. If you're not, rather show your working out so that you can avoid losing marks unnecessarily. Alrighty, so if your hands are up to answer the question, you can pop them down. We do still have more, so there'll be more chances for you to answer. If your hand's going to stay up, then I'm going to assume you have a question. So I'm going to leave this up here in case you need to take a screenshot. But like I said, please lower your hand if you don't have a question. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that we have questions. All right, Lungile, do you have a question for me?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is that why did you say 34 plus 34 180 minus 34 minus 34? Because when I said that x equals to 180 minus 34, it gave me 146.
Okay, so remember x, if we're just looking for x, we're not going to use 180 there. What we're going to do there is we're actually going to use the fact that the angles opposite equal sides are equal. So that means x also has to be 34 degrees because it's opposite an equal side. And in order for us to then do angles in a triangle, we have to know two of the three angles. So we first had to get that x was 34, and then we could go and find y. But we get x is 34 using angles opposite equal sides.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Okay. Oh, sorry. Things are going bad. Nompumelelo, what is your question?
Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, for this question, is it possible for it to be isosceles triangle?
So it is an isosceles triangle. You definitely can use that as a reason. I know some people do use isosceles triangles, and yes, technically it is because an isosceles triangle has those two equal sides.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure. Alrighty. Tando.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
So, ma'am, if I understand you correctly, when you said that we don't always have to like give out the full working for y equals 112, correct?
Yeah.
So, ma'am, I'm not sure if so, ma'am. The very same thing my teacher said that today at school. So, but he said that in exams, we always have to show our working. So I want to know if whether it is okay to not show your working during exam and during an exam, or it's okay to like just write the answer itself.
Yeah. So look, I completely hear that. And it is always important to show your working out. Like my English has just left me today. We always tell you to show your working out, and you should. But when it is a sort of a question where you can look at it and feel comfortable that you can do that calculation quickly on a calculator and the working out isn't too hard, you are welcome to just write your answer. If you're feeling unsure, rather write your working out. But in something like this, because I knew what the two other angles were, it was a quick calculation on a calculator. And so I didn't actually have to show the working out. But if it makes you more comfortable, rather do it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Right, guys, I'm going to remind you that on this chat, we're either asking questions or we are providing answers, and that is it. Okay. So I'd like you to have a look at question 3. And I'm going to ask that you give it a try by yourselves. Nothing new here in terms of all of these reasons already. What I will do is I'll just leave that up in case anyone wanted to screenshot too and didn't get a chance. But I'd like you to now give question 3 a chance. And like I say, either pop your answers in the chat or you're welcome to raise your hand so that we can have a see. Just remember all of your reasons, right? I've explained, well, we've done all of these reasons, so you know what you're doing. For question 2, guys, I have explained it, but just again, x is equal to 34 because it is an angle opposite the equal sides. We were given 2 equal sides here. And so I knew that the angles opposite them were equal. And once I had the fact that the 2 sort of angles at the top of my triangle were both 34, I could then use angles in a triangle to work out what y was. And so it's going to be a similar thinking in question 3. So have a go and then put your answers in the chat or raise your hand when you are ready. Right, don't forget your reasons. We always need reasons for our answers. Like I say, if you are feeling up to it, please do raise your hand so that we can hear. I know I've asked you for 3 angles, so you might need some more time. Right, I'm liking Tundle's reasons coming through. That's awesome. Oh, I'm seeing some good reasons here, guys. Well done. Okay, I'm going to give everyone another minute or 2, and then I'm going to take some answers. We do have 3 angles here. We're going to try to give everyone a chance. So I'm going to ask that it's 1 angle per person. Yolanda, do you think we're ready? Oh, no. Might have lost Yolanda. Okay. So guys, like I say, one angle per person because we have a few here and I'd like to give everyone a chance. Let us start and have a look at our answers. Guys, remember your reasons, just as I'm sort of seeing the questions come in on the chat. Remember your reasons are all what we screenshotted at the beginning of the lesson and sort of what we have been doing in this course and the last course. So go back to those videos if you need to, and then have a look at your reasons there. All right. So Wangi, would you like to give us an answer?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Which
Okay,
value
so,
are you going to give us?
Y.
Okay, cool. You're probably actually going to have to do two at the same time, but it's okay. Tell me.
Yeah. So I said 50 plus x plus y is 150. Sum of angles in a triangle.
Why 150?
Sorry, 180.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we know that x plus y plus 50 should give us 180. Okay.
Okay. And then I said x plus y is 150 minus 50. 180 minus 50.
Yeah.
And then I said 180 minus 50 is 130.
Yeah.
And then I divided it by 2 and it gave me 65.
Perfect.
both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why is it for both of them? What reason should we give for the fact that x and y are the same?
Equal opposite angles opposite equal sides.
Excellent. Okay, so guys, I'm actually going to make a statement before this in saying x is equal to y, exactly as Wangi said, angles opposite equal sides, because that's a really important fact that we need to state. Because if I'm now going to use that fact to work out the rest, I need to have said that. So that's going to be my first statement. And then, as I've said before, if you then want to change them both to x's or both to y's, that's fine, because you've told me that they're the same thing. So now in this equation for sum of angles in a triangle, what we actually have is x plus x, because x and y are the same, plus 50 is equal to 180. And so we now have an equation where we can go and solve for x. So we've got 2x equals 50. No, it doesn't. 2x plus 50 equals 180. And so 2x is equal to 180 minus 50. And this is now where Wangi was saying we're eventually going to have to divide by 2, because what we get is that 2x is equal to 130. And from this point, in order to get x, we'll divide both sides by 2. And so 130 divided by 2 is exactly 65 degrees. And so now I know that both x and y are 65 degrees. And I know that because I've made this first statement up here, the fact that x and y are the same thing. And because I made that first statement, I don't even have to do any working out for y. I can just say that it is the same. So thank you, Wangi, for that. I also made an oopsie in that we obviously have to do them both at the same time. Amatle, would you like to give us Z?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi. Amatle, do you want to give us Z, or is your hand up by mistake? Okay, that's all right. Mpumelelo, let's hear it. Tell me what Z is.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I'm not done calculating it, but then I know it's 155, but I'm still calculating.
Okay, then I'm going to give someone else a chance. Thank you. Gift, do you want to tell us?
Ma'am,
Hi.
hello. Where do we get the other X from?
So remember, right, okay, let me do this. right at the top here, we've made that first statement that x is equal to y. And I know that they're the same thing because they're angles opposite the equal sides. And because those angles are equal, what I can do is I can change them to be the same variable because they represent the same amount. And so that's why all of a sudden I had two x's because I changed the one y to an x. And you're absolutely are welcome to do that as long as you've told me that they are the same, that x is equal to y because they're angles opposite equal sides.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. Well done. Alrighty, guys. So you're absolutely welcome to do it. As long as you've told me that they're equal, you are welcome to change that variable in a test or whatever. You are welcome to do that because you've made the statement that they're equal. All right, Siamo, are you going to tell me what Z is?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask about this little question. Okay, so when we're doing exterior angles, I wanted to ask, do you add all the angles together or do you subtract them?
So are you asking for Z specifically?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Right. So we're going to do Z in the same time I'm answering this question. So Z we can see is an exterior angle of a triangle, as Tiamos told us, that when we are doing exterior angles of a triangle, what we need to remember is that we only add together the two opposite angles. That's it. So in this case, Z is equal to 50 plus what I've just worked out that angle to be of 65 because of exterior angles of a triangle. And so then I know that Z is equal to 115 degrees using exterior angles of a triangle. You don't have to use X. Yeah.
Don't you add them all three of them together?
No.
Or is it just both of those two?
Just the opposite two.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Cool. So guys, if you didn't use that, you could have used angles on a straight line to find Z. That is absolutely fine as well. There's often more than one reason that will give us the correct answer. So you could use angles on a straight line to get Z as well. But at the end of the day, Z is equal to 115 degrees. Okay, well done. And I see all those hands going down. So I'm assuming that was the question. Excuse me. Right, so please take your screenshot and then we're going to take a quick break before we carry on. Guys, I'm fully aware when a break needs to happen. Don't you worry, I will always remember. I'm not going to stop in the middle of a question. We're going to finish the question that we're on and then we're going to come to a break. I know we need to take breaks. It's really important. So don't ever stress about me forgetting about it. Right, I'm assuming you've all taken your screenshots. I'm moving away from it now. Let's have a look. Oh, where's my brain break? There it is. Right, so remember, brain break. You don't have to do the brain teaser thing. It's more just to get your mind on something else. More importantly, I want you to get up. I want you to stretch, touch your toes, whatever. Run to the bathroom if you need to run to the bathroom before we carry on with our lesson. Okay, now this brain break, remember all we're trying to do here is work out the value of the swan, the owl, and the duckling. Remember, in some of them, there's 2 owls or 2 ducklings. So just bear that in mind when trying to figure out their values. And remember the operation that you're working with. You don't want to use the wrong operation or do the operations in the wrong order. I'm going to give everyone a chance to get there. Seeing some great answers coming through though. And remember your order of operations. So remember which operation should come first. Yolanda, would you like to pick who is going to help me with this?
Yeah. I see my people are doing really well. Onako, let's go. Onako, you'll have to unmute on your side. Okay, Onako, because of time, you can also put your answers also on the chat, okay? So I'm gonna go to Ayabonga. Ayabonga, we are all yours.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi. Ayabonga, you're going to tell us what any of these, what their values are?
I think Ayabonga just muted himself again.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, ma'am, there was a call. So, ma'am, what I did, I said 24 divided by 3, and then I got 8.
Awesome. So all the swans are 8. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, so guys, every time I see one of these swans, I know I can fill in an 8. Great. Okay, who's next? Oh, I'm worried we might have lost you, Linda. Okay, no problem. Amanda, would you like to tell me something else?
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hi.
So, ma'am, for the second one, I said 8 times 8 plus 4.
Good, well done. So guys, remember that order of operation, super important. We do the multiplication first. So we know that 8 times 8 gives me 64, which means that I'm adding 4 in order to get 68. So all of the R's are not 68. All of the R's are 4. And what I need to remember is that in the third step, I've got 2 R's here. So this is actually 8 and that is 8 because there's 2 of them. So we need to just bear that in mind when we're having a look at our images in case there's 2.
Am I the only one who's experiencing like a little bit of a glitch? I think maybe they can hear you. No, I think it's network. We can continue. I don't see any complaints on the chat, therefore maybe it's my network. It's not yours.
Okay, who wants to give me the last one? Let's see. I think I had asked Mdiwe. Mdiwe, do you want to tell me the, I don't know, ducklings?
No. Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
For the last one, it's 4 plus 14 times 8, which is 116.
Okay, so what are the ducklings worth?
It's 4, and you add another 4, which gives you 14 if there are 2 ducklings.
Okay, cool. So we know that altogether those ducklings should give us 14. And I know that because remember, I need to do the multiplication first. And we know that 8 times 8 is 64. And we know then that 14 plus 64 gives me 78. So each of these ducklings is worth 7. But that's actually okay because I know that I've got 2 ducklings here. So I've got the 14. And then remember, guys, we do our order of operations. So we do the multiplication first, 14 times 8. And 14 times 8 is 112. Whoops. And then we add them together in order to get 116. Okay. So that was our little brain break. Well done. Like I said, don't stress 100% if you, no, don't stress if you don't get it 100% correct because it's not part of like the work or the syllabus. It's just a little break from what we've been doing. Right, I'm going to move straight back into sort of what we want to chat about today because otherwise we're going to run out of time. So we're going to have a look at our final reason when working with triangles. Now, we've learned 3 reasons and I put them up. And as Yolanda told you, take a screenshot of it because that's sort of like your cheat sheet. But what we're going to have a look at today is a reason that sort of goes hand in hand with the reason we have already done around the fact that angles opposite equal sides are equal. And this is what we call a converse reason. So it's when we say that the opposite is true. So previously we said, if I give you equal sides, you know that the angles opposite them are equal. Here, we can now say the opposite. If I give you two equal angles, then the two sides opposite those equal angles are equal in length. So in my diagram over here, I've now given you the fact that angle A is equal to angle B. And I know that again because of those little tick marks on the angles. That's telling me that they're equal to each other. And because I've told you that, you then know that the sides opposite them are equal in length. So from the fact that I gave you two angles, you now know that the side AC is equal to the side BC. And so this is what we call a converse theorem. You don't have to stress about that. I'm just letting you know because converse theorems will become quite important as we go along. But now we are given equal angles, and so we can say that the sides opposite them are equal. So this is quite a nice reason in that generally it's just a measurement that we're looking out for, and it's not too much work that we have to do, unlike the other reasons we've done. Right, so take a screenshot of it, and then we're going to have a look at a question of how we actually use this reason. Okay, so if we go and have a look and see how we would use this reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that so we can still see it, but we can have our diagram. When I'm given a triangle, the first thing that I see is what information does the diagram give me? Well, the first bit of information I see is the fact that I've been given that these two angles at the bottom of my diagram or of my triangle are equal to each other. And again, I know that because there's that tick mark or that line on the angles. They're equal. And the second I've been given that, I then know that the sides opposite those angles are equal. And so if I'm now looking for X, I know that X is equal to 2 centimeters. And my reason here is the fact that sides are equal, opposite, equal angles. So my reason is a little bit different to the one we did earlier where we had angles opposite equal sides. This here, I'm giving you that the sides are equal. I'm giving you that the angles are equal. And so now I can say that the sides are equal. Okay, so take your screenshot there. In this case, nice and easy. I don't actually have to do any working out. I can just say that X is equal to 2 centimeters. Where these become a little trickier is something like question 2. So what I'm going to do is it's not even like question 2. It's coming. Don't you stress. If we have a look at question 2, what we've been given is we've been given two angles, one side, and then we have our X. Now, what I see in question 2 is the fact that both of these angles that I've been given are 65. So actually, those are equal angles. They're the same size. And what that then means is that I know that the sides opposite them are equal. And so again, I have to do no calculation. I can go straight away and say that because those angles are equal, which I don't even have to write down, it's given to me on the diagram, I know that X is equal to 2,5 centimeters. And again, my reason is the fact that I have sides opposite equal angles. Right, so we can say, I see Amanda on the chat, there was some new sort of language. We can say that those angles are congruent, they're identical, that's absolutely fine. But the sort of takeaway from this is that the second you've got two angles that are equal, you know that the sides opposite them are equal. Alrighty, so those are two sort of straightforward questions that we have here. But let's have a look and see, ignore the brain freeze. Let us have a look and see something like this question 2 over here, when we've been given information where we're not too sure about what is equal. Alrighty, so if I have a look at question 2, the information that I've been given is the fact that DE, so the side DE, is equal to 1,7 centimeters. So that bit of information there. I have also been told that angle E is equal to 100. It's not equal to 100. Sure, my brain today is equal to 110. And the fact that angle F is equal to 35 degrees. Okay, so I've got two angles in my triangle, and I've got one side. What I've been asked to do is I've been asked to find this side over here, x. So I see that, okay, I'll come back to the question that you say you're not done with. I'll go back there in a sec. So what we need to do is we need to say, okay, well, right now, I don't have any or enough information to help me find what x is. So how can I help myself? Well, looking at what I have, maybe I can get some angles, because if I work out what this angle D is over here, if I can get that it's also equal to 35, then I have those sides opposite equal angles. But I first need to work it out. So I'm going to start by having a look and seeing, okay, well, what is angle D? Well, I know angle D plus the 35 plus the 110 degrees must give me 180 because of sum of angles in a triangle. Make that a bit smaller, sum of angles. And through that, I can go and solve for what angle D is. So angle D would be equal to 180 minus 110 minus 35. And so what I've worked out is that angle D is equal to 35 degrees. And so what I've actually gone and shown here is that angle D is equal to angle F, because they're both equal to 35 degrees. And because of that, I now have two equal angles, and I therefore know that the sides opposite them are equal in length. And this is what I was saying earlier. We're going to have to start getting used to doing multiple reasons in a question. We first had to get the angle before we went and found x. But now I can say that x is 1.7 centimeters because of sides op equal angles. Oops. And so I did have to do that initial step to help me get to where I needed to be. But like I said, that's just something we now have to get used to. The fact that often we're going to have to do at least 2 or 3 steps in order to get our answer that we want. So in this case, I first had to work out the remaining angle, my triangle, to see if I had any equal angles. And because I did, I knew that the sides opposite those equal angles were then equal to each other. And so I knew that x was equal to 1.7 centimeters. Right, so guys, please do take screenshots as we go along. I'll try and leave you enough time to do it, but obviously if I don't, I will go back. I'm going to assume these hands are up for questions. So Lisa Kanya, what is your question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I wanted to just make sure you see F most, ma'am, it's 35.
Yeah.
So since you know that the F1 it's this, like, if you know it's opposite, like opposite angles are equal. The opposite angles are equal. So
the
is
angle
there
D and the angle F?
Yes, ma'am. Is there a need to make all the calculations, or you can just write D is equal to 35?
So you don't have to do all of the calculations, but you do have to write D equals 35 and give your reason of sum of angles in triangle. So you can sort of leave that stuff out if you want, but you do have to state that D is equal to 35 and why you got 35, and then you can go and do the rest of it. But we do have to say what D is because I haven't given that to you and you do need it.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Cool.